This might sound a little funny to you, but I am nothing without my ops. I know it's weird to say, but it's true. And I talk a lot about detachment and not caring so much, but some of the biggest life changes I have for myself was because I took things personally. Without the ops, maybe I won't even get that far because maybe I'll be too comfortable. But the thing is, you can't just brush off the disrespect, okay, and pretend that everything is okay. No, if someone does you dirty, you can't just ignore it. You're not a punching bag for other people. So don't get mad though, get ahead. The amount of drive and motivation that I get from this mindset is actually immense. It's like a rocket ship. It drives me upwards. The thing is, if someone is being mean to me, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm gonna show you what's good. In a motivating and lawful way, of course. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to transform your thoughts, and I'm gonna go into detail about this, but the thing is, you never want to stoop to their level. Instead, you use that nastiness to elevate yourself and make yourself more powerful. That your ops are like, wow, that thing that I did to them, it backfired massively. It's a huge life hack actually, and you can do this in a way where you're not emotionally disturbed by like a hater, for example, or something terrible happened to you, because that's not your fault. But don't make it your problem, you know? Instead of being totally crushed by it, you can turn things around and use that negative energy to come out the other end a winner. And no matter what you're going through at the end of the day, it's all about what you do with your circumstances. You can use whatever happens to you as your biggest motivator. And your motivations don't even have to be some grand life purpose. I have thrived in the past off of being motivated over very petty situations. Like if someone owes me a couple bucks and never pay me back, I'll be like, that's not cool. Or being bullied and shamed for who I was became like the ammunition to my glow up. The point is, don't let people step all over you. Don't hit back, but show them. Show them what's good. I truly believe this, that some of the most successful people have gone through some crazy hardships. And the goal is to get to the point where you're able to use anything bad that happens to you as the secret sauce to becoming so mentally tough that you leave all the wrongs in the dust and nobody can mess with you. You dust your haters, basically. So my name is May, and I want you to become the most successful and powerful version of yourself. That's what all of my videos are about, including this one. If you like what I'm saying, you can show me some love by liking and subscribing to my channel. The biggest thing is making sure that when setbacks do happen, you're able to take the underlying lessons from it and use that to improve yourself rather than being self-defeating about it. And therapy is an amazing tool for changing your mindset, especially with all the pressures of being perfect in the new year. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to learn better ways to help yourself. BetterHelp, which is the sponsor of today's video, is on a mission to making starting therapy easier. So I have been going to therapy for years for all kinds of things going on in my life, including going through hard times, like periods of depression and hopelessness, and when I need to heal from things that are holding me back. It helps me process feelings of not being good enough and create better tools for my self-improvement journey. Therapy is you giving yourself that fighting chance to succeed, and everyone deserves more chances to become happier and healthier. This new year is your opportunity to rewrite your story. Starting BetterHelp is easy. Just fill out a questionnaire and the platform will match you up with the right therapist for you in as little as a couple of days. If you can't find the right therapist for you the first time, you can always easily switch to another therapist until you find a better match. Online therapy with BetterHelp is also affordable and so much easier on your schedule than going to regular in-office therapy sessions. Start fresh any day of the year with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/MayAliceSuzuki and get 10% off your first month of therapy. And the reason why I mention therapy is because using the bad things that are happening to you to fuel you isn't just something that you can instantly turn on immediately. You need to first get your own messy emotions in control and deep trauma out of the way. You need to heal yourself from any damage and learn the tools to protect yourself and have control over your emotions so that you can become a cool and stoic baddie. My podcast is called Stoic Angels for a reason, okay? To me, stoicism is not about having no emotions and not caring about anything and being heartless. It's not. It's more about becoming more self-aware and being in control and taking everything that happens to you into something that becomes the secret sauce to becoming even more successful. I don't even think that I would have reached my current level of self-awareness and control and all that good stuff if it weren't for me hitting my rock bottom and going through some really mentally hard times. And I can prove to myself that I can get through all of that. You can become a more elevated human being if you can control your reaction to everything that happens to you. The ball is thrown into your park, so now everything that matters from now on is what you do with that ball. But the thing is, when you start becoming more aware of all these things and you practice what I'm teaching you in this video, Some of these nasty people may not like you for a while for a few reasons. Because one, because of what they're doing to you, you're not giving them the intended reaction. You're not reacting the way that they want to react. On top of that, you're also doing something with their negative energy that they themselves don't even know how to do. People get nasty for a reason, okay? They don't have the capacity. So they're like, why are you not reacting the way that I want you to react? It's gonna confuse the hell out of them. You're gonna become foolproof, hater-proof, manipulation-proof. And they become so limited that they don't even know what to do with you. And let me tell you, that is the best feeling ever. Rather than fighting back and hurting yourself even more in the process, at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, wow, like, that is a hell of a difference. And we have all been wronged in some way before. Someone did us dirty, someone bullied us, betrayed us, cheating, all of that. And as much as I constantly want to believe in the good in people, that doesn't mean that you have no boundaries and you don't care that they disrespect you. You should care because they're disrespecting you. Sometimes you gotta let them know what they did was wrong, but there's a controlled way to do this, and then there's an out of control way to do this. The difference is the out of control way will get you into trouble or make you stoop down to the level. And we don't want that. Naturally, you'll probably feel angry and sad and hurt. And a lot of people think that anger is a low vibrational emotion. And to an extent, this is true, but you can also feel a version of that anger that doesn't hurt you or make you feel out of control, that actually inspires you to correct the situation. And this is great fuel to level yourself up as long as you use the right kind of anger as fuel to lift you up. So there is a vibrational hierarchy of feelings where you're either spiraling upwards or you're spiraling downwards. You want to first identify whatever you're feeling right now and use this as a tool to figure out how to go up, not down. Because it's too easy for you to go from feeling angry to feeling jealous and hate yourself, and eventually you're going to feel powerless. But you're not powerless. You have so much energy and potential and power within you. You need to use that to lift yourself upwards, towards passion, towards feeling empowered, towards freedom. When you can control and use this anger to assist you, just like how when you're visualizing something in order to manifest it, your emotions can make that manifestation even more effective. In fact, it's essential for you. And same goes for the other way around. It's all about how you feel when you imagine your desired outcome. If you're imagining that you're leveling up and doing better than everyone else, but then deep down you're feeling bitterness and frustration and anger and that you have no power, then that's not going to work for you because you're going the opposite direction. The best way to get out of spiraling downwards is to understand why you feel so mad about it. Maybe it's something like, they hurt me, they did me dirty, they shouldn't have done that, but yet they did. This is not right. What happened to me? All of these feelings. Anger is actually really beautiful. It's a beautiful and very protective emotion. Even though it's low vibration, it knows when your boundaries have been crossed. It knows when you feel betrayed. Anger feels amazing when you express it and you let it out, just like any other feeling, honestly. That rush you get when you express your feelings. Your anger, with your words or with your actions, because it's a low vibrational energy, it's going to come out in a violent way. It might feel good to you at first when you do it, but you're going to always experience that hangover or that regret afterwards because it was expressed in an out of control way. Either that or because you don't want to express it, you shut yourself down, and when you do that, you will feel bitterness from not being able to express it. That's also not the solution. Your anger comes from the place of feeling like you have been harmed and that you should take revenge, which is not completely logical. Technically, nobody should ever make you feel any way except for yourself, because you need to invite that feeling in. And that revenge, if you do it back to them, you are inflicting the same level of harm not only to them but to yourself even more so. But this revenge can be done in a very beautiful and artistic way that brings justice to you, and it will still make them regret their whole life. The healthiest way to look at this is to learn about your own boundaries. Accept that other people actually do deserve to have the autonomy and the freedom to do whatever they do, even though sometimes it's nasty things and it's wrong. It's wrong to you, maybe not even to them, because we all have different levels of morals and ethics and we don't all think the same way. But the mature thing to look at it is you guys are just not in alignment. You cannot convince people, by the way, that they're bad people or they're evil, because everyone thinks that they're a good, decent person, right? So whatever they act like, that's a different story and it has nothing to do with you. That's their problem. That's not your problem. Fundamentally, the only good thing that you can do and the right thing to do is to be very level-headed and calm and develop that mental capacity to control and master your own emotions. When you understand that this is their problem, not your problem, and nobody can take anything away from you and nobody can hurt you unless you let them. Because then you realize that when you spiral downwards eventually, after all is said and done, that is you doing it to yourself. But then you can still recognize that what they did is still wrong, and you're just like, I cannot level with that, I cannot associate with that. You should be better than them. And that is how you can punish the situation, so to speak. That is how you can take revenge. Because they're going to notice, wow, this person is actually on a different level than me. You won't do it to them directly, but you're going to rise above. And whatever they did to you will still go back to them. Because if someone can make you feel low vibrational, if someone can make you feel negative, they have power over you. And if you can take whatever they're giving you and bring yourself to the next level, you're going to have, in a weird way, you're going to have power over them. And they're going to be the ones feeling like less than you. I think about this a lot actually, especially when Mike Tyson was in his heyday. He said this about his fighting style. Fighting is all about staying calm and being relaxed and meditative. Because that's when you can have a better level of self-awareness and you will make better decisions that way. The whole persona of being riled up and being an angry madman, that's a persona, that's an illusion, that's what he wants his enemies to think. Because he says this, once you get really riled up and excited, you can't actually fight at your best ability. And that was Mike Tyson at his peak form in his career. He's one of the greatest fighters. But then later on, you start seeing him doing things like actually losing control and getting really mad and angry and biting people and stuff. And that's when he starts losing his cool. And when people think about the later stages of his career, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, whoever was fighting Mike Tyson was riling him up to be mad. No, they instead will remember that he got mad and ran around and started biting people. And that's one of the things that people would remember in the later half of his legacy. So that is the right and wrong way to channel your anger. And it takes practice, okay? Conscious practice. That every time you feel that negative energy and the anger rising up from your stomach, and it always starts as a physical feeling, including other energies, hurt energy, frustration, jealousy, all of that. You can always catch it because it's a physical feeling, and you can consciously train yourself. I'm better than that. I'm conscious of the fact that it was wrong what they did, but I am better than that, and I can rise upwards. So, how do you transmutate your emotions, so to speak, and turn your pain into power? You stop avoiding it and basically face it head on. The thing is, and this is very true, whatever you resist will persist. It's the actual resistance to the negative emotions that makes those emotions so powerful. And it's going to prolong your suffering, so to speak, if you keep fighting it. And whether or not your emotions are serving you, they're still a part of you. So don't turn this into a war against yourself. Even though it took me some time to realize when I was actually resisting my thoughts and my feelings, one thing that really helped me is to imagine that these emotions are coming from your inner child that lives inside of you, and that you should be approaching these emotions in a way that is kind and graceful and caring and compassionate, because you're doing it at the end of the day to a child. Observe the emotions coming into your body and rushing through your veins in as neutral of a way as possible, and just observe it. Don't label it at first. Just try and feel it, and then if it comes out and if you have to ugly cry about it, just let it happen naturally, and then be kind to yourself, because at the end of the day, that's your inner child feeling it, and you need to be taking care of that sweet child. Why I think this works is simply because your body, emotion, and everything in you is a complete ecosystem that works best if everything is working together. If you're fighting your thoughts and your emotions, and you're fighting against yourself and your body, I think that we can all agree that that's not a good way to function, right? That's a terrible way to function. Never get in a war with yourself, especially over something that is someone else's problem, over some other person's negative energy. Just because someone does something to affect you doesn't mean that it becomes yours to own and take on. So how do you stop fighting your thoughts and your emotions? Try and observe it and invite it in. Literally invite it into your home, in your heart. Sit down with it, have tea with it, and you can ask your emotion or thought actually, what lesson is it trying to teach you? Because there's always a lesson in it. I know it goes against everything that we've been taught, but really it works. I struggled for so many years with depression and quite bad anxiety, actually, especially social anxiety. And at first I tried different things to heal it, but it didn't work at first because I was still way too attached to thinking that if I can just get to the root cause of this issue, maybe I can just flush it out, right? That's a nice way to think of it, but it didn't work out for me. But one day I started doing this style of meditation, and we're basically not just observing it, but you're inviting it in a welcoming way. And it actually made me realize that the anxiety and all the bad feelings I'm feeling became worse, and that state persisted because I was fighting it. Instead of seeing it as the enemy, you can see it as a gift and as the knowledge that it has something to teach you. And so you should be approaching your feelings with a mindset of kindness and hospitality. So if I'm feeling a pocket of anxiety, what I do now is recognize it and say, you are welcome in my body because you're a part of me, and whenever you're ready to show yourself to me, you're welcome to do that. And then you can observe that feeling with kindness, because if you're being kind to yourself, if you feel terrible and you're suffering, it's still okay. It's okay. This conscious process of directing love and kindness to yourself is a way better intention than anything else, and it's going to naturally counter that coldness and that resistance and the war inside your body. If you don't really know where to start with meditation, I like to use guided audio meditations because it's really easy to follow along the instructions, and you can just sit down with a few minutes and just try and listen to the tape and try and follow along with it. So if you're interested in trying the specific platform that I use for my audio meditations, you can go to my YouTube channel profile links, and I have a link there. So you can try that for free. You can also do this with a Jungian concept called using the active imagination, and some of you might be familiar with this. If you believe in the law of assumption within manifestation, it's the same thing. But it definitely applies in psychology, and it's also a tool that you learn in therapy as well. Basically, you remember the points in your life where you've gotten really angry and hurt, and try to remember what were you thinking that was making you feel that way, and work with those thoughts mentally until you become in control and become aware of the reasons why you get angry in those instances. And remember the purpose of those emotions, why you feel mad, why you feel sad. There's always a purpose to it, and the more you do this, the more conscious you can get in the moments. Basically, in the moments where you feel yourself about to lose control over being mad about something, and become more capable of actually consciously perceiving when this is about to happen and boil up. Basically, you get to take control of it and stop before you hurt yourself, before you hurt other people, and just observe more often than just to give into it. It's the same thing with sadness, right? Or being hurt or frustrated. You have to reason with yourself and find out what is causing your sadness. Observe it. Once you can link the reason to the trigger, whatever that looks like, and if you have to do this, try and observe yourself outside of your body, right? Try and detach a little bit from being so in the moment. Then your emotions will start to feel more tame, more controlled, and then you can morph that energy like a putty, like a clay, like a ball of clay, and morph it into something else. Or better yet, visualize yourself morphing that anger or the energy of sadness into an energy of happiness. Like literally, if you have to, take visualization exercises like taking something negative, right? Like maybe a trash bag, like something shaped like a trash bag, and then just imagine it morphing into bunnies and butterflies and rainbows and all of that. That is you doing mental transmutation. You're taking the chaos of how you're perceiving things and how you perceive the world and bringing that to order. That is how you exalt something. Taking it from chaos to order. And you can exalt your whole life this way. You can turn everything terrible that happens to you into something that works out in the best possible way for you. And that is how you become mentally tough. Anger turned into determination is actually a high frequency. That's you turning that low vibration, that low frequency, into something high, right? But don't resist it and don't hold on to it in your body because it's going to get worse and it's only going to poison you. Instead, you use that as jet fuel and transmute it into greatness. Guys, emotional alchemy is like magic, and it's a very powerful form of energy transformation that you can do as a human being. Anyone can do this. Transmutation of thought into matter is very simple, much more simple than you think. And basically, if you can hold your attention on a thought long enough, it will become a part of your physical reality eventually. It might take a while, it might take a few days or weeks or months or even years, but it will always happen eventually. The things you tell yourself and the things that you think really matters a lot. Just remember that if you have thoughts that are at war with your body and your mind, recognize it, observe it, and think about how to use it use it for the better. Because even when things get crappy, you still have to come out to face the world. You still have to face yourself. You have to feel your emotions. That's what makes life worth living, honestly, is being able to feel the good and the bad. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And embrace why you feel it. You know, it could be there to protect you. It's like I said, right? Anger and sadness is such a powerful emotion because it tells you what's going on that's wrong. Something's not right in your world. That's how you make progress. And then just like throw yourself back in and just keep repeating that process every time you feel a certain way. And one day, after a while of you doing this over and over again, one day you're gonna be like, wow, wait, I can manage things so much better now. I'm in a whole new level. And one day at a time, one step at a time, one thought at a time, you're going to be in such a different place. And I promise you, things are going to get so much better. That's how you turn your pain into power. And that's why you should be taking all of these things personally, so that you can process your emotions correctly, so that everything that ends up happening to you can be something that makes you a better person. Even though it's something that sucks, you can still make it right. I believe in you. I trust that you can do this. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions for me or anything you want me to let me know in the comments. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video, and I'm going to see you in the next video, right? Hopefully. I'll see you in the next video.